Hello and welcome to another episode of Trench Tips. I'm your host, Jack Frimpston, and I'm here with Scunthorpe's worst scumbag.
Wow, not been called that since '98, actually, with the great Scunthorpe scandal that came through and rocked the area, and yeah, so can't believe you brought it up. But look, we're here now. We're here now.
We're here now. Let's move past it. I want to talk to you about something I've been thinking about recently, and I think about a few things. The thing I've been thinking about recently is all meetings aren't created equal.
Okay.
Okay. So I'd like to dissect that a little bit for you and then I'll bat it over. All meetings aren't created equal. So I see it all over LinkedIn. And can you not wink at me? Because for the people that are listening on Spotify, Apple Music, they
Sorry,
won't understand why I'm
I thought
being
we were
thrown
playing
off.
Wink Murder,
No. I never used to play that.
but you
Just
used to play.
the wink bit. I used to play wink.
Now you're getting mixed up. People used to call you a winker.
Okay. All meetings aren't created equal. And what I mean by that is I see all over LinkedIn somebody saying, I did 7 cold calls today. I booked 3 meetings. I
Mm,
did 100 dials. I booked 9 meetings. I booked 94 meetings this week. And we all kind of use the meeting as the North Star. I know there are certain Americans that don't, but we all use the meeting as the North Star. If that's the first commitment to the next stage of I'll have a meeting and then I'll move them somewhere down the funnel and they might go into the
mm,
pipeline and they might be closed one day. Who knows? But so many people are talking like, yeah, I booked 3 meetings, and it's just about like, what is a meeting? Okay, so just getting somebody there, I would say, is technically a meeting. That is a meeting. If somebody agrees to a time and a place and they turn up, that is a meeting. I think that when there's a lack of quality, attendance rates are very low, and I also feel like we've been experimenting a little bit with we get meetings from different places. We get inbound, we get outbound from email, we get outbound from cold, we get outbound from ads, we get meetings from all different places, and we know it's a different game, and the way that you approach inbound and outbound is completely different. And we find that meetings that have had a cold calling element are different.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yes. I think I'll let me just touch on a point before we jump into that.
Please.
If you have, so let's say the job role SDR, a job role that, if you speak to SDRs, the ambition is to move into an AE role normally.
Mm-hmm.
If the target is to get a certain amount of meetings as in volume goal and just get those and you'll be an AE and that's the goal, what will the type of meeting be if that's the carrot that's dangled? Just get a certain amount of meetings.
Shoddy.
Shoddy. Exactly. And again, in our world, I had a guy say to me, well, how many clients can I expect out of working with you? What do you mean? How many clients, like new clients in the work that you do? Well, I don't do that bit. What do you mean? I just kick the door down and get them in front of you. If you can sell, that's up to you, but it doesn't. The outcome might not be clients,
Mm.
and that's one of the thing. It's kind of like this. Do we understand what the purpose is of the meeting? Do we know what a good meeting looks like? And are you incentivizing you guys around the complete wrong things?
Mm.
And today, we're going to unearth some of that, Jack.
Well, we
I'm going to
are.
talk about not all meetings are created equally,
Mm.
especially not ours, because they're absolutely sick.
I worked with the company. They'll remain nameless, but they got rewarded just for booking somebody in, whether they attended or not. They got paid. And
Mm,
when I asked them like, what are some of the traits of a salesperson, one of the words that came up was dodgy. And I was like, well, okay, let's unpack that a little bit because I'm in a room full of salespeople here. And it was like we get incentivized on this, so this is what we do. And our job, like we'll say, yeah, we can do that, yeah, we can do that, yeah, we can do that, just to get it in front of them. And
yeah,
that is like if you are incentivizing the wrong things, like what should you be incentivizing? So for us, a qualified meeting is, do they have the problem? Brilliant. But more than that, are they motivated? So the analogy that I love is, I was going to say the cassette player in my car's fucked, but after the phone call the other day, the door doesn't
It's
lock,
more than
the
that now, isn't it?
windows don't
Yeah.
go down, and the radio got nicked. But
God.
hey, I don't need to drive anywhere.
$9,000 a day you're on, and you can't even do that.
Can't even get a new car. So the cassette player in the car is broken, but everything else is working fine, typically. So I'm not going to buy a new car. So just because, but that is a problem. That is hands down
Yeah.
a problem. Just because I have a problem, it doesn't mean I'm motivated to solve it. And typically, when there's a lack of motivation, that is when somebody won't come to the meeting. Because I know what your diary
Exactly.
looks like, and I know what my diary looks like. Mine's busier because I work harder, but we both look down at our calendars over a weekly. We both look at our
Wow.
calendars on a weekly basis, and if there's something that isn't of importance in there, a sales call, a demo, what am I trying to solve by that? Why do I remember why I'm there? Yeah, your turn.
I don't look at mine on a weekly basis. I look at mine on a daily basis because I care more than you. But let's keep going. So let's lay it out, right? That's like all well and good. You need a problem, you need to be motivated to fix it. How do you actually do that? So the first thing, the problem. Does this person you're speaking to exhibit symptoms of the problem that you solve? I don't mean, are they curious? People aren't curious about fixing a headache if they haven't got a headache, are they? Well, I'd like to know just in case I haven't got a headache. What? What you know about? They're not showing up, are they? At all. They're just being nice to you. So the first thing is it a real problem? Right? If I push you on it a bit, do you defend it? Now the next one, and this is a real key one, can they then give you examples of that problem in their world? And what's the importance of can you give me real life evidence and real life examples, Jack?
Well, the heuristic bias is the more examples they can think, the more it's going to confirm. So, like when you say, "Give me an example of that," I'm going to double down. The more real life examples, it's going to make it a real thing. If I can't think of anything, if I say, "Oh, my girlfriend always annoys me," I can't think of one example. Well, then that belief is probably going to go away quite soon. If I can list off.
What are you looking for examples of your girlfriend being annoying?
No, that wasn't the question.
I've got a notepad
And she
in my
listens
drawer.
to this podcast, actually, Zach. So she will be reprimanding you at some point.
Oh, lucky me. Anyway, so there's that, right? Now we need to have a clear impact. Okay, impact is one of the most funny ones. I talk about this all the time. No one had ever asked one in real life. And what's the impact of that being on you? Me and my husband are struggling a bit. What's the impact of that being? You just go, what the fuck are you on about? Asking me shit questions like that. But if it was like, well, how do you even know that's a problem? Oh, because of this, because I don't get enough time to spend, because there's a massive risk to the business. We're not seeing the. How do you know it's a problem? We'll get you the impact. Okay. Now I've got the problem. Now I've got an example of the problem or examples, several. Now I'm getting a little bit of impact. We're kind of getting home and dry here. And then the next thing that we need to get is what is the potential root cause? And this is one that can get overlooked because the root cause, what could it sometimes be, Jack? And it's a challenging thing to put a mirror in front of someone about.
In the words of Taylor Swift, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
Exactly. So you could be talking to the CEO, the leader of the business, and actually the problem, when you start unearthing it and working it out, you're scratching your head because you're thinking, it's this person I'm talking, they're the problem. They're getting in the way. They're the bottleneck. It's them. Or it could be a complete indifference, or it could be reluctance to change. There's a lot of things that will be within that root cause. And typically you're going to start finding that when it's how long's that problem existed for? When was the first time you noticed it? When was the last time you noticed it? What have you done to fix it? Why has that not worked? Once you start getting all those pieces, you should start quickly finding out, well, does this person sound motivated? Do they sound risk averse? Do they sound like they give a shit? And that's when some things should start happening around, is this person even worth putting in the diary in the first place? So you could be at this point 8-10 minutes into a call and be realizing this person's never going to sit, and if they do, they're never going to buy or move forward anyway. And you've got this great line check around, if it was your business, would you have booked them?
Hmm.
You want to talk about that?
I didn't even know I said that, but can we etch that onto some kind of wall somewhere in the date?
If it was your business, no, I've definitely heard you
Yeah, it
say
sounds
it.
like something. No, it's definitely something I've said. I remember it was a Wednesday.
What's your name again?
Derek. Yeah,
Yeah.
but people don't treat their jobs and fair dues, and I've been in those situations before. They don't treat it like it's their own thing, but it's like the whole everything you've got to treat it like it's your own mini business. The way that you operate, your time management, the way that you're managed, and things like that. Like it's just human and relationship skills. But that's the thing. Like, don't just be trying to push things. This is the thing. If you really want to do well, if you're looking to make a quick buck, like the dodgy salesperson we spoke about earlier, whatever, get it across the line. The chances are you won't be at that job for a long, long time. If you're genuinely trying to improve and get better and maybe have a career, think about like what you'd want to do. Like we've seen it with some of our new people recently, where we're listening to calls and I'm like, you know what, you probably could have booked that. Like they might have booked it, but it wasn't good enough, and they weren't happy with it. And when we're big on like disqualification, and it's like yeah, you probably could push it and get it over the line, cool. But what do you really want to do? Like, you want people to sit there like and be like, some of the feedback we get from our clients is people go, fucking hell, I sat that call with Freya. I sat that call that Freya or Rosie or Josh or Kane or Gert or whoever bought, and they're like, God, they sat down, they opened up, they loved the style that you did, because it's getting them prepared. It's like you don't just throw someone in cold. And typically from meetings, from email, I get onto a meeting with you and I go, cool, right, tell me what you do then. Sell to me. Convince me that I should. I've given up 30 minutes from an email. It's a different game. It's like, that is a lead, I get it, but that's why all meetings aren't created equal. Where did it come from? What level of motivation is there? How big is their problem? And that is like the game. How deep is your love?
Exactly. And you find that when you go into that level of depth that's required, the last bit, which often is like the bit where you have most people sort of scrambling around, well, I can do any time really. We just only need 5 minutes. I just want to show you like all that sort of like beggy, pleady stuff. If you've gone into enough depth, they're like, well, what is it that you do, or how can you help me, or I'd be interested. They start talking about like the next steps before you do. The other thing that I see that's missing is around the depth. And the depth normally comes with listening. And a lot of people will say, oh, yeah, we're really good listeners. You know, how many salespeople do you interview? I'm so good at listening. How many people do you meet? No one would ever describe themselves as a bad listener. You never meet someone who and go like, what are you not good at? I'm not amazing at listening. No, it's like people are so not aware of their own listening skills. But the ability to hear someone describe a problem and use language that's vague or wishy-washy or non-committal, you as the salesperson should be able to go, hold on a second, before we carry on, I'm spotting something here. When you describe that, you keep saying, I think, and actually 10 minutes ago you told me it was a problem, now you're not so sure, you sound quite conflicted. The ability to notice the through line, the thought patterns, the limiting beliefs, the ego, the things that are going to hold this person back, that is the skill, and everything's going to go upstream back to that. So if you don't spot it at the start,
Agreed.
come out
And I
empty.
think I've got that was good.
Fuck.
I think I've got the prescription for that.
Bentley water? What's in this stuff?
There's that little advert there. I think I've got the prescription for that, what you were talking about there. And for our audio listeners, mate, I'm holding it in my right hand. Can you describe what it looks like?
That's it. Yeah, I can.
Okay, never mind. People, speaking of like funny people on LinkedIn, I saw a bloke the other day that said, I'm so good at listening, I don't write notes during conversations because I'm just present. That is stupid. That is stupid. No one's ever saw someone writing notes and thought he's not listening. It like that is one sign of like, yeah, I'm actually, depends what you're writing down. Sometimes I look at my notes and just think, why have I wrote down the words late spring on my notebook?
I've wrote my own name 3 times and then put
Right, okay.
54%.
But so maybe we're not very good at listening. But notes are going to be your friend. So okay, but earlier when you said X, it's a great way to circle back. So if you are looking to book shit hot meetings, pick up the phone and pick up a pen. All meetings are not created equal, and then